about that. It's just my thought. Oh, there you go. You're live.
Mayang buntag, mayang hapon, mayang gabi, no matter where you are in the world. Welcome to today's live stream.
Yes, welcome to our channel, Feels to Phoenix.
Yesterday, we didn't do a live stream. My apologies. Someone was getting an ultrasound done. I wasn't.
That's me.
That was all her. They could ultrasound this, but I don't think they'd find much in there other than maybe last week's hamburger.
Or yesterday.
Yeah, that would have been yesterday's hamburger too. But
Yes.
good morning, Mr. John from Philippine Experience. How are you doing today? But yeah, today's is going to be from just a house that there's been some things that we need to get done, and Thursday, Thursday is normal when we do it from the house anyhow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is going to be a walking live stream with Papa and I. We're going to try a different route again. Hey, David, how you doing today? We're going to try to go up in the Hoog area. We realized yesterday that the Shaolin Temple, Buddhist temple, actually isn't Taoist temple. One of those isn't too terribly far away. It might be a little bit long for a walk there and back, but it would be more than good for a walk there and a cab ride back. So Papa and I may try and do that and just kind of pressure through any bad connection areas. So if there's some serious buffering tomorrow, my apologies. It may not be the greatest on that, the greatest for cell reception, but it shouldn't be too bad.
Hi, Brandon. How are you?
Hey, Brandon, how you doing today?
Thanks for joining us.
Where'd it go? See, this is one thing I really like about doing this in the OBD studio, is I can bring up pictures and stuff like that to show so that everybody can see them instead of just holding them up to the camera. We got some really cool first photographs of pumpkin that the one we've got is kind of small.
It's really tiny.
Now I'm gonna try and zoom in, so bear with me if it takes a minute to focus. That's our little pumpkin.
Yay.
Heartbeat and all. 153 beats per minute. And it looks like the regulars are all here. You want to say what the guess?
Huh?
You want to tell them what the guess is?
Go ahead.
That
Don't see the gender.
Oh, that's what I was talking about. What the best guess is. The radiologist gave a best guess and gave it like a 60-40 shot of what they think the sex is.
I need to come back next month.
But we'll know more definitively next month. But like I say, it's a 60-40 shot, so it's basically not much different than your best guess anyhow.
Yeah.
What we'll probably do, and we've talked about, and she agreed that may not be a bad idea, is I've got the picture saved as a JPEG, so I can put it up, so I can post it on Facebook. Post it and let in the message for it.
Sorry. I get distracted. I keep looking at it. It's just so precious.
But in the description section, just let them know that it's a 60-40 shot and let people guess. And we'll give both the, at the next ultrasound next month, we'll give both the what the sex is at that point, and what it was, what they said it should be at this point. But that might be kind of a fun guessing game. That we were supposed to go diving today in
Marigondon Beach.
where?
Marigondon.
Marigondon?
Lapu-Lapu. Yeah.
Marigondon Beach? I don't know where that is.
Lapu-Lapu.
I know that.
I don't know. Google it. Sorry.
But we were expecting a couple of Lazada packages today that we've actually stood them up twice now. So before they send them back, we figured we needed to park it at home. Okay, that's just down the block from
Pacific.
Cebu. For anybody that knows Mactan, that's where we're going to be at tomorrow, or Friday now. We were supposed to be there today. The only, we were at one pavilion yesterday, and I looked, and the only tiger is the one out of Singapore that I could find. But we do need to go to SM today or tomorrow and pick up a few things. And so I'm going to give them a shot on that one and see if they've got it. Otherwise, I got a couple other ideas to try. I'm always up for trying a new beer. That there was one bar that I used to go to back in the day that they had they had a pretty extensive international selection, and they had a book that anybody that in 3 months' time could drink their way around the world. You got this T-shirt and cool stuff like that. But trust me, at the price of those beers, you more than paid for that T-shirt. But I got one. Like I say, that it's kind of a meme type joke, but yeah, there is no such thing as bad beer. Some just better than others. But yeah, I've had some that were truly horrible. You never really have drank that much.
I have low tolerance of alcohol.
That and when she did typical female, she got way more into the wines than she did the beer. Although there was some beer that she did kind of like.
I get tipsy quickly, so.
The one that I used to have a friend that would brew, and I found it in stores every once in a while, great while, is barley wine. That it's beer, it's beer ingredients brewed and made with wine yeast, brewed like wine and made with wine yeast.
Mm-hmm.
And it's aged like wine and everything else. And it is actually, most of them I've tried were really good. A few of them I tried were, one of them I tried was just, oh no more, please. But yeah, they tend to be pricey. They tend to be real pricey. And I'm just not sure where I can get stuff like that here in the Philippines. In the U.S., I know where I can pick stuff like that up. They got Bevmo and stuff like that. And that's a lot of here. It's just finding the different places to pick the stuff up.
Yeah.
Most things from back in the Western world, the real world, whatever you want to call it, the U.S., you can find here. Most, not all. A lot of times you're going to wind up paying a premium of considerably more than you would even back, in the West. But you can find them, and so it's just a matter of trying to find them. that toolboxes are one thing. I enjoy working on cars and vehicles and stuff like that, and realize that probably wasn't going to be a great idea here. And you can get it done cheaper than you can do it yourself. But I am doing a little bit here and there. That today I'm playing with Rusi that I wasn't terribly happy with the work the guy did, and started pulling it apart. And I guess it's the way things are commonly done here, that they just twist the wires together, bend them over, and tape them. I'm not in love with that. If you're gonna do that, at least put heat shrink or something like that on. Don't. Anyways, but then that's all he did on this stuff, and a lot of it he just twisted the ends and wrapped it around a nut to secure it somewhere. And yes, I have done that over the years to get through, to get by. But at the earliest possible convenience, I went back and fixed it and did it right. And he put some lights on, some nice LED driving lights that I like. But he wired them into the headlight in a really weird, bizarre way, and I didn't like the way he did it. And now that we've got the space and a little bit of extra time, I'm going back through and doing all that. No worries, Brandon. Definitely join us tomorrow for the walk that Papa and I will be doing. We may take a tricycle and go down and start partway into this, but because it's going to be kind of a long walk.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it's just a Bluetooth speaker, but I didn't realize it was like right in the middle of the frame until just a second. Enjoy your day, Brendan. And we definitely appreciate you guys coming in and listening to us prattle on for an hour. Because most days it's just random thoughts that are going through, that there's not a whole lot of pre-planning that goes into this, which we need to start working on.
Yeah. Ziggy.
Tomorrow morning. No, tomorrow afternoon. Tomorrow afternoon. Hey, Ken, how you doing? You know Ken?
Yeah.
You do? Okay. I'm sorry, Ken. My memory is a lot like her. It's really good, but a tad bit short.
You're silly.
What?
Go ahead, don't think that. I'm just trying to do something.
I think she's trying to log into Upwork and figure out some stuff.
Go.
That she keeps distracting me. It's her fault. Yeah, you can see that she's.
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry.
Thanks for joining us, Kim. Okay, I'll stop it.
The bike right now, I went through and sorted out what he did, and I'm correcting it, and I'm just going to hardwire it to the battery. That he did find a ground elsewhere on the bike, and I'm just going to reuse that ground, but I'm going to go back and I'm going to go down and buy some butt splices today and actually splice it back together and do an eye connector and do it right, and then get an eye connector from the battery and do it right. And it's just me. I don't like seeing things half done intentionally as a permanent fix. That one does kind of bother me. I like how Sunshine is running, but I'm kind of concerned about digging into it and finding out how he got it running. I have a bad feeling a lot of that's done there as well. And don't get me wrong, I've done repairs like that's lasted months or even years, but it's definitely not right, and I don't like leaving it that way. that you can get heat shrink tubing from Lazada, and a few people have told me that there's a couple places around town you can pick it up locally and just be done with it. And that's what I need to do, is go down and get some heat shrink tubing and just do it right. Even if I could just get the crimp connectors, I got some silicone sealer I can just dab around the end to seal it up in the meantime. There's a couple more things I'd like to do to Sunshine. Yeah, I'm skipping a groove in the middle of that one. That I would really like to get a high mount brake light on it, on the back of that wing area. Originally, we had talked. I got an LED strip that worked, and and this was my bad for not doing measurements and crap like that first. But it was way too long for up there, and so he did it around the tailgate, underneath the tailgate, but did it in such a way I'm not happy with. But it was really the only place it would fit on the vehicle. And so what I need to do is get better measurements and order a correct one and get it up there.
Yeah.
And that's something I'm just going to play with on my own, in time as time goes along. The backup camera. I'm not in love with the camera we've got. I'd rather have a mirror and a backup camera. And I may talk with you about replacing the radio.
Okay.
And get a camera that way, so that way we've got a dash cam in addition to the mirror. Because what we've got right now just bolts on top of the mirror, not bolts, it just straps on top of the mirror so it blocks the mirror. It's nice because it's right there where the mirror typically is. It's bad because it covers the mirror, so there's a lot of information that you could get that you don't. Like keeping an eye on things inside the bed of the truck, to glance up and, to catch a reaction of one of the passengers. You can't do that now. So I may look at having a radio drop down and put in and go that route. There's a bunch of goofy things. The backup camera, the only place he had to really put it is on the tailgate. And where it's at, it gets bumped all the time. It's shade, it's not a great situation. What I would have preferred to see, and probably going to ask him to make the piece and do it, move it, is just take about a 2.5 inch diameter, inside diameter pipe, and then put a cap on the end of it, put a plate on the front, mount the camera inside of it, and then put it on the bumper, mount that on the bumper. So that it lowers the camera quite a bit to basically where a license plate holder would be. And then it protects the camera from being recessed. And then it just moves it into a lot better, safer location, in my opinion. And at that point, you could actually basically glue the camera in place and not have to worry about it. So, like I said, there's some just little goofy things that I would like to do, but no big hurry to getting them done. Sunshine is running great as is. He did, because I asked about it. The transmission still isn't right, but it's much, much better than it was. I really think it just needs a rebuild. And I guess that's just not done here. It's not something that typically happens here. He can get a remanufactured transmission from Japan. They're a little pricey, and delivery time is horrible. We're talking months worth of delivery. And so, if we go back to the States or something like that, then we'll probably tell him, just do it. Order the transmission, let us know how much we need. and just have them do it while we're gone. And plus, that'll take care of storage for sunshine when we're gone. And there's a dozen, there's a bunch of other rebuild stuff that I would prefer he did. The front-facing cameras I like, and that's one advantage to the where this one's mounted and how it's mounted is it does have a front-facing camera. I've never seen the sense in having a front-facing camera that you can view. I can look out the window and see it.
Yeah.
To have a front-facing camera that's recorded is a very good idea. A lot of the some of the radios that you can get that have the cameras that have the monitors in them already have the dual sensors, and so I may just look into stuff like that. But again, that's not anything urgent, important, or really even needed. That's something to be a ways down the road, but I'd kind of like to look into doing that. Eventually, the other thing that we talked about when we're gone is I'd kind of like to see the lift kit that he was talking about on it. The lift kit and the more aggressive tires. And I think that might be a really cool thing. So that might be something else to ask him to do while we're gone. And but like I say, it's just a bunch of silly little things. Rusi, I'd like to get the specs on it and get a much better carburetor setup for it to get the carburetor adjusted right. But I want to give it much more time and a whole lot more braking time that I've got on it. That I'm not riding Rusi like I expected to, partly because we're living in a city and I didn't feel comfortable putting Cindy on it while I was learning. Well, I was getting comfortable. I wasn't learning to drive it, but I was getting comfortable in the city, learning to drive in this traffic. And then when she turned up pregnant, then no, not a chance. That the other day coming back from Sabuna on the SRP, right at the tunnel, we saw a scooter that went down hard, and there was ambulance and police, and I'm thinking that one was probably a fatality. With the way that any of you that have driven the traffic here, that you'll know this statement. With the way traffic is, I'm honestly amazed that there's not many more fatalities like that. But again, though, that the speeds here are not like they are in the U.S. and I would imagine most of the West. That they're not the 140 kilometer an hour speeds that is standard. Arizona, the speeding ticket, the record speeding ticket, is on a GSXR, Suzuki GSXR 1200, 1300. There was 146 mile an hour on a major street in Phoenix, and it was at like 2 o'clock in the morning. And the police actually had to set up a trap that the guy was an idiot. He did it repeatedly. He'd get off late at night and go through, and there's a section of Phoenix that's dead straight, no red lights, that's about 4 miles long, and he just hammered the throttle every night. And people complained about it, and they set about 5 different cop cars in strategic spots, and sure enough, they busted him, and he wound up with the state record for speeding ticket of like 146 mile an hour. But it just people are crazy on the freeways that I've seen. I've been doing 90 plus and getting past like I was standing still. That Um, yeah, that kind of brings up a side topic. This is just one that's me making a complaint, or not really complaint, observation, I guess would be a better way of saying it. That might be kind of cool because I've seen some of the systems that were built in, and I really like some of those where it's built in and there's a camera on the dash, or not a camera, but a monitor on the dash that you can see. And I like that. I've seen some that it's a two-way mirror, so that when you hit reverse, the backup camera mirror comes on. But when you take it out of reverse, that it's just a standard mirror that you can see out of. I wouldn't mind that setup. But this one that's a camera all the time, I don't like that. But anyways, I've seen some bikes here that are the big CC bikes, the 1,000+ cc bikes. I've seen a few Harleys here, and that one I love riding. Don't get me wrong, but especially the Harleys, I definitely don't see the point or the purpose in those. The other day we were following a Mustang GT. It was one of the performance Mustangs.
Yeah.
And that was my comment to her, is it sounded cool, but where are you going to drive something like that? Is there even a racetrack in the Philippines?
I don't know. That's a good question. Yeah.
Oh, no worries, Brandon. I'm probably going to keep this down to a half an hour today. Just simply because I'm really out of topics to talk about, to be bluntly honest.
Me too. So I'm just like sitting down here. Moral support.
I appreciate that.
Well, I'm Facebooking or doing something.
Yeah, she is doing work. She's doing Upworks. That she's had a couple of contracts that are definitely interested, want to hire her, but they want her in the U.S. to start. And so that may influence a decision coming up here. But she had one that was offered, and that one is that they're preparing some documents and some records and some garbage like that. David, we truly appreciate you swinging by and giving the channel all the support you do.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. We're actually down to 0 subscribers.
I'm watching it.
Oh. So we got 2. Okay. Facebook freaked us out there.
Yeah, we'll just go down to 30 minutes.
But yeah, we're actually going to keep it down to 30 minutes today. We do have some things to get done.
I'm not feeling well too.
Before we move the printer scanner upstairs, where it's going upstairs is going to be a little bit less convenient, but I can rock back and forth here. And I'm trying to get a bunch of documents that need to be scanned in before we move it. It's not quite so convenient. But it's actually 29 minutes, and so we're going to cut it off. And yeah, because I got to run a wheel count pop off. We got to get some lights. Then I got to talk about how many lights. I got to get some pieces parts for the bike. I got to get some pieces parts for other stuff. And so we're just going to wind up having a pretty busy day today. And tomorrow we're going to be doing our walking live streams. So that one will be a whole lot more interesting.
Yep.
But I appreciate all the support you guys do give us on this one. And we're hugely thankful for guys like Ken that do come in and, the newer people.
Yep.
But for today, from Cebu, mabuhay.